I am here at the Clinton Global Initiative. It's September 9th, 2022, and we are so excited to have the opportunity to interview the climate commitment makers. We have here two from the Safe Water Network. We have Rita Colwell and Kurt Soderlund. Did I say that okay, Kurt?
Perfect.
Okay. I have no right to mess up names. You can imagine all the variations I hear on a regular basis. So I'll start with you, Rita. Please just give a little history of who you are and the Safe Water Network for our global audience that's tuning in.
Well, I've served on the Safe Water Network board for about a decade, but I'm a microbiologist, really a microbial ecologist. I've been working in the field of pandemics and prediction of pandemics. Most of my career has been spent on studying cholera. I've worked in Bangladesh, India, various places around the world, Latin America, focused on tracking down the causative agent of cholera.
Fantastic. And what brought you to the Safe Water Network then?
The Safe Water Network is an organization focused on providing safe drinking water to villages, communities in the underdeveloped areas of the world. And we've been extremely successful in developing a coverage for Ghana in Africa. We're very proud of the results, where we have been able to literally provide safe water to millions of people in that country.
That's fantastic. Thank you for the work you've done in India. That's relevant for me and my people as well. So appreciate that we can take these case studies and hopefully scale them around the world, like we're seeing in Ghana as well. So Kurt, let me please come to you. What motivated you? Tell us a little bit about your background and what really motivated you to get all of this going.
Yeah, so about 15 years ago, there was a group of civic and business leaders that were focused on the issue of safe water, and I became engaged really out of an interest of dealing with the complexity of social issues, challenges, health issues, and the inspired work of some of our board members, of which Rita soon after joined, to be problem solvers and to focus on what is one of the most basic essential needs, safe water. We know it's solvable. We know that it's not a question of technology. It's not really a question of dollars. There's obviously needs to be a lot more dollars spent against this issue, but it's really a focus on how to sustain water supply systems and how to ensure that communities take true ownership and investment in maintaining their water supply.
Really having collaboration at that local community level and making sure that the solutions are accepted, right, and are actually deployed in a way that is going to be beneficial for the community because there's ownership there.
Yeah. Yes, it all starts with the community, a commitment from them to engage. We focus very much on building trust with the communities through a few things. One is by ensuring that it's accessible equitably, it's affordable. We charge a modest amount, but only so that people who are supporting the system get paid, get compensated for their efforts, so that we can continue to replenish the systems and maintain them and sustain the operations.
Fair enough. I'm going to come back to you in 1 second, Rita, because I really am excited to hear about the recent research that you would like to share with our audience. Before we get to that, what is the commitment then that is being made here today at the Clinton Global Initiative?
Yeah, very excited, along with two of our funders, the Conrad Hilton Foundation and Stone Family Foundation, making a $20 million commitment over the next 3 years to expand in Ghana as a model for Africa. And we think of our work in Ghana as an innovation hub. So we've been focused on social innovation, technical innovation, operational innovations, all of it directed at ensuring community ownership, community participation, and sustainability. And we have demonstrated success. We're now the largest private operator of water systems in Ghana, and prepared to share that model with the rest of the world.
That's fantastic. That's exactly what we need, right? We need to showcase, pilot, and actually see these solutions making their way into fruition, and then we scale them. That's the whole point of the We Don't Have Time platform too. Share good ideas, scale solutions. That's how we're going to accelerate tackling this climate crisis. So that brings me to you, Rita. Now, we know that COVID-19, we've all lived through it globally, and we know that climate change is resulting in increased emerging and persistent infectious disease outbreaks. Nobody thought about that until it happened. Similarly, cognitively, we don't think about waterborne diseases either, but similarly, climate change is resulting in increasing likelihood of waterborne diseases. Please explain this to us.
We are actually in two pandemics. One, of course, is widely recognized, and that's the COVID-19. But we are in the seventh pandemic of cholera, which began in the 1960s. And it affects millions of people every year with at least 1 or 2 million deaths. And so the work that I've done over the last 50 years, actually, have tracked down the source of the bacterium. It's a vector-borne disease, except the vector swims and doesn't fly. The vector is plankton, zooplankton, microscopic animals, particularly crustacean. And we have been able to show that the bacteria are associated with plankton. As a result, we developed a model showing that we could predict the cholera pandemics based on the satellite observation of temperature, chlorophyll, and other parameters, as well as satellite observation of movement of populations. So with this very sophisticated model, we are now able to predict where and when cholera will occur. But related to climate is what is fascinating, because about 45 years ago, a British marine laboratory began collecting plankton. And so there are 45 years of plankton, which we went back and we actually extracted the nucleic acid from the plankton, and were able to enumerate the numbers of the causative agent of cholera and related infections, and showed that the number increased with the warming of the sea surface temperature, and it correlated with the increased number of infections caused by those bacteria. So it sounds very complicated, but it's simply stated. As we warm the oceans, we increase the susceptibility to infectious disease of those waterborne organisms and probably airborne organisms that become more abundant with the increased temperatures.
It makes perfect sense, and thank you for giving that detail. That's going to help us be able to bat away anyone who says otherwise, that there's that connection. Now we can actually be very clear about how that all comes together, right?
Yes.
How the warming temperatures are warming the ocean temperatures, which is resulting in all of this different infectious disease outbreak, waterborne or otherwise. So thank you for sharing that detail.
Indeed. And we've been able to use this model to predict currently in Yemen and more recently in Ukraine the risk of cholera epidemics.
And that's incredible. Science, viewers. So this is a lot of kind of depressing information, potentially, except that you seem very optimistic. You're smiling being here at the Clinton Global Initiative because of the amount of commitment makers that are here and the energy that is very hopeful and positive. Are you part of that energy? Do you have a positive outlook on where we're going in terms of actually being able to overcome this climate crisis? Is there hope?
There's hope if we address it, but if we stay asleep and don't pay attention, then it will be disastrous. But I am optimistic about the ingenuity of the human mind and the human capability. And I think as we rouse up from our lethargy and take action, that we can do something about it.
Okay, I love that. We might have to just pull that soundbite out too. That was beautifully stated. Kurt, how do you feel? Are we going to overcome the climate crisis?
Similarly hopeful, and I think it's both overcoming the climate crisis and also providing solutions for communities and individuals that are impacted by the climate crisis. As Rita so perfectly pointed out, the consequences are devastating. And what we need to do is solve the climate crisis on the one side, but also bring practical solutions to the people who are being impacted from the consequences. And so our work in Safe Water is really focused on the solution side of people who are impacted, and Safe Water is so central to among the issues that are debilitating to communities.
Exactly, absolutely. So thank you so much for the work that you do, and obviously we're highlighting the incredible impact that you are making and the commitment that you are making here as well. But what about those in your network that are also doing really positive work that you would want to potentially shout out? We will help you with that. We call it Climate Love. So we would love for you to point out individual or organization that you would like to give some climate love to, and we will do our best to bring some attention to their great work.
Well, that's easy for me. My climate love goes to Rita for a lifetime of work tackling the really tough issues that for too long have been under-recognized, underappreciated, underfunded. And thank you, Rita, for all that you've done and continue to do.
Well, thank you, Kurt. That's very kind of you. I do want to shout out for a UN agency which I think goes unrecognized. It focuses on crisis and the coordinating response to communities that are devastated and meet various exigencies very effectively. And so that UN agency, I think, is where I would put my climate love.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. We'll be sure to let them know that you've sent love their way, and our viewers have seen you give direct love, Kurt, to Rita. Thank you, Rita, for everything you've done, truly, and thank you for your commitment today.
A pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Delighted. Thank you, Sweta.